Hey guys, this is HTO Mario, and I am doing a feedback play. This was sent in to me by Eternity. He wanted advice on this specific game. Some of you might have forgotten that I do this. I actually have not been getting very many plays lately. It might be because there were a few, two or three left over from the previous map pool, but I only want to do the current map pool. So, um, let's take a look at this game. So Eternity, to my knowledge, is going to play Mech in this specific game. He's against Top Patty. I believe that they are good friends, or at least friends. I believe that they came from the same clan. I'm not 100% sure, but this should be exciting for us. Now, in this specific game, or this specific map, I really like this map for Mech. If you can secure the natural, in this location, the third is relatively easy, and then the fourth is just right here, which isn't that hard to obtain if you do it in a timely fashion. You know, if you wait till the Zerg has everything, it's difficult. But generally, the fourth is easy to get, and the fifth is difficult, which is nice because usually the fourth is easy to get. A little bit of banter here, back and forth. Now, the average opener in Terran against Zerg is a Reaper opener, which is where you get the gas at 12 supply after the barracks, and you cut out the SCV in between, so you drop the barracks, and then you don't make an SCV, you get that refinery, and then you resume SCV production. This allows you to get a Reaper started almost right as the barracks completes. But he's actually doing a gasless expansion. Now, gasless expansions are nice, but you have to be careful with them. They're kind of susceptible to some Zergling cheese, to some Roach cheese, so you have to get your double gas geysers right away. Supply depot. Seems slightly delayed. The reason why it's going fine for him is because he cut out an SCP. I honestly would have cut out the Marine. If you're going for an economic opener, you're being so greedy as to grab your gas geysers before the supply depot, you should probably cut the Marine. So let's take a look at this from his point of view. He's seen that the opponent has gone gasless. So Roach play in the future is possible. Now, he doesn't know that he's gotten a single gas geyser, but usually a Zerg grabs two right afterwards. Some Zerglings come up. This bunker is a little bit later. It actually looks out of position as well. Looks like it needs to be right here instead of right here. Like the corner needs to move down one pixel. Third gas guys are really fast. This is a little interesting. One thing I don't like about this specific, or what's going on here, is there's not a lot of refinement. And by refinement, I mean the supply depots, the build order, and so forth, which is standard. It's not the highest of leagues, but one of the biggest things that I don't want people to do is move away SCVs to a new base if you are under 16 mining. So as long as you have as much gas as you want, it could be a single gas geyser, it could be double gas geyser, it could be no gas geyser. You want 16 mining. And the only exception to that is if they're building a building or supply depots. As an example, this guy, I think, is about to make something here, or the barracks is moving here. This guy is just moving to down to the base over here. But we have one SCV building in his base, which means that he should have 15 mining. All times. Do not rally away unless you have 15 mining. This is, or 16 mining, excluding what's building. This is very important because you cut your economy a lot. A whole lot. The amount of, 16 miners in one base is about as effective as it gets. But by not doing that, however long it takes for the SCV, I think it's like 10 seconds to get from here to here, is actually 10 seconds of time that you've spent not gathering minerals. It could make 2 or 3 trips by then, so you actually lose 15 minerals for every SCV. Now let's say he does this until this is at 16 mining. Then he could potentially lose 100, 200, maybe even 300 minerals. So for every SCV he sends over there, he's losing about 15 to 20 minerals, which is not that great. It's definitely something you don't want to be doing. It's a lot more minerals you could be having. You have to be careful. Speedlings can be out on the map, at about 7:30 if they go gasless, and then about 6:04 if they take a gas, spawning pool. Assuming they expand. If they don't expand, it's about 5 minutes and 4 seconds, I believe. 5 minutes 20 seconds, somewhere in between there. So we're going for a medevac, and with this medevac we're going to go do some drop action. I do like this, but I do not like the fact that there is no supply depot wall. I definitely feel like in TVZ there should be a supply depot wall off every single base you have, if you can so help it. It helps a lot against circling run-throughs, it helps a lot against slowing down units coming up to your units. So let's say you have 3 siege tanks here, and a bunker, and 15 roaches come up. Well, or even 20 roaches come up. Well, they just come up and then they pass the bunker and they right-click on your siege tanks, the siege tanks die and you lose. But if there's a wall on either side, 16 or so roaches come up, you pull some SUVs, you repair whatever he's attacking as fast as you can, it buys you extra time. And the extra time is very, very, very important. You see some Zerglings outside of your base, he spots your drop. Looks like you're gonna do some kind of Hellion play. Or Hellbat play because of the fast armory, which is nice, I like it. I don't think you should be making Marines at this time, unless you're expecting some kind of... Oh, Blue Flame, that's nice. Unless you're expecting some kind of ballistic win. But I think it's a little bit too early for that. You know that it's probably not going to be roaches, because you've seen late speedlings. Late speedlings usually is an indicator that there aren't going to be any roaches, if there are a lot of them. Doing some nice damage here. Well, save it, save it. So you did some alright damage, and it looks like you're going into like an extended version with an extra factory of Hellion Banshee. This could be a lot faster, you're not making the wall, so one of the biggest tips that I would give you as a player is refinement. A lot more focus on your macro, your build order is very, very important. And one of the reasons why your minerals are so high is your build order. And I say that because these other factories should have been down already. You should already be getting 1-1 upgrades. You weren't getting any upgrades. A build order is one of the most important things in lower lanes. It can actually flat out skyrocket you from bronze to probably silver, platinum, maybe even diamond. Just doing the build order properly and making no fatal executions. Don't donate your entire army. And you should be able to get up to platinum if your build order is really solid. Your transitions are really solid, and you drop missile turrets when needed. But if that's really solid, then you can do a lot of damage. So this push can actually, with about this many units, can hit about 8:30, 9 minutes. It's slightly less strong, but if the build order is correct, this comes 4 minutes early. Now imagine this player has 52 Zerglings, 3 Queens. Alright, and he's got a few spines. But imagine if this push came 4 minutes early. How little would he have? How much would he have? Would you just be able to steamroll him and walk over him? Is that kind of what happens here? It probably does because you have a lot of them, and it's Blue Flame. Although the push wouldn't come with Blue Flame. By the way, you see Banelings morphing like this right next to you? You gotta pre-split. You gotta, take 3 of these and send them off over here. And then you take 3 or 4 of these and send them off over here, and you pull these a little bit back, and you create kind of like a cone to where everything is right in the middle. You kind of extend here, here, and here. It's like a triangle. It's kind of in the middle, and if he goes this way, then you split these, and if he goes this way, you split these, and it's just so much easier. But if this push came like 4 minutes earlier, you could have flat out just won the game. I am so sorry. I got this replay a few days ago, and I'm just so tired, and I really wanted to do this and help this guy out. I do love helping you guys, so if you guys send me replays, I will help you. I will give you free advice. There's no problem with that for me at all. Tech Lab and add-on wise, you have 5 barracks, usually 2 Tech Labs and or 3 tech labs and 2 reactors is the most optimal. If you're going to go for 1 reactor, you probably want to stick to 4 tech labs. And then at this stage, your starport should have a reactor. You can make Banshees and keep making Banshees, but you probably want a second one if you are going for 3 bases. You know, you're transferring workers over to this base, which is bad. I could understand 2 to make the gas geysers, but you shouldn't be transferring this many. These rocks should also be down. If you're not going to kill these rocks, take this base. Siege tanks up here can kind of cover a lot of that. So, a little bit of reinforcements, but that's fine. Overall, the game seems to be relatively You're definitely doing a lot of damage, and I think a subsequent push will end up killing him. I do not like that you're making Hellions out of everything. I feel like this should be Thor, Hellbat double, and double Viking. That's what I think should be going on right now. If not double Viking, you should be making Banshees to help against Roaches, since you're going to have plenty of anti-air. If you're in the middle phase against Zerg, there should only be 2 phases where you're making nothing but pure Hellion, and that's the early phase where you think you can do a lot of damage, and the late phase where you're completely out of gas. Those are the only real situations I can think of where you're making pure Hellion, unless you're cutting the gas to make more factories or starports, and then you're just using the Hellions to, to attack. You're coming in, doing quite a bit of damage. I would imagine so, because there's no protection. Very nice. I approve. Need a right click on the nerve and stay. So we're making 4 Thors now. I'm glad that you listened to me through the past while I was watching this replay. Very well done. Much talent. Very well. But you're making 4 Thors, you're making the Banshee, so you did know what to do here. That's very good. Your missile turrets are a little bit late. You should probably drop them, if not around 10 minutes. If they're on 2 bases, you want to drop them around 9.5 minutes, 9 minutes. If they're on 3 bases, you want to drop them around 10.5 minutes. But if you think you have a little bit more time, try not to do it too much later than 13 minutes. You can lose to some timings, and that's kind of a lot with the lower leagues about timings. If somebody else hits theirs and you don't, then it could just flat out cost you the game. This is a very powerful army. I like this, but I also feel like you should maybe be getting 2-2, just for the sake of getting the extra armor in there. I mean, if it was just like Siege Tank Hellbat, I could understand. But if you're going to go Thor Hellbat, you want the armor. You want the armor against the Zerglings, you want the armor against the Mutalisks, you want the armor against the Banelings. The armor is very, very important to stop Mutalisks, Zerglings, and Banelings from doing damage to you. Roaches also do a little bit less damage, but the most important part is the Zerglings. If every Zergling for every attack, let's say a Zergling hits you 10 times and he did 1 less damage each time, that's 10 less damage that he would overall do. That could mean the difference between life or death. And now let's say 5 Zerglings are attacking this Thor 10 times. That's 50 less damage overall that the Zerglings would do. So it's important. The attack upgrades are not as important if you're going Thor, but they are important if you're going Siege Tank. The armor upgrade isn't as important if you're going Siege Tank, but it's very important if you're going Thor. So these are just some things to remember. Overall, I liked the play. I liked the choice and composition. It wasn't bad. I think that, and you're expanding at a decent rate. The SCV transfers are too much. That's the biggest thing I would, have you point out is that you're transferring too many SCVs too fast, and your build order needs to really be tightened down. Really write down what you want to go for. Try to hit the benchmarks. Those are the 2 biggest pieces of advice I would give you in this game, and then 3 is pre-split. You lost a lot in all of your pushes or both pushes because of pre-splitting. So, very important. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want my advice on your games, feel free to send them to me at hfmario@yahoo.com, and I will upload them on YouTube with my review for you. And have a wonderful day.